Okay. Hey, Shelley.
Hello, Sally Lou. It's so good to see you.
I said that with all the energy I could muster.
Oh man, I'm
Woo!
so sorry you're not feeling well.
Today is a better day. I definitely still have it in my throat, which so I'm hoping it's strep, but I won't know for a couple of days because they're taking they're a little busy, right?
Yeah.
So they can take their time. I'm self-isolating at my sister's house in my beautiful yoga room. Next time I need to self-isolate, I would like to be in yours.
It's not a bad place to be. I'm absolutely positively
Someone
taking
called me.
what?
Someone just called me, and it's so funny. What comes up on your end? Is it just like a picture of me?
Yeah, it's your still photo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, let's start over.
Okay.
Hey, Shelley, how are you
Hello,
today?
Sally Lou. I'm good. I'm good. How are
So
you?
grateful to speak with you. I was worried I wouldn't be able to because I haven't been feeling well, but I really felt compelled to take a shower. So because I knew we had a call scheduled, and I wanted to make sure that I would show up. So thank you for inspiring me to shower today. It makes a world
Yes.
of difference.
That's awesome. I'm so glad I could help. You look lovely.
I feel better. Everyone in my family who is seeing me, I'm self-isolating because I don't have corona. I have tested for it. I think I have strep. We'll see. So fingers crossed. Yes, thank you. But the joke is that I'm self-isolating in my sister's house because we're in New Jersey, and I'm in her sacred yoga room. I feel like it's my apartment. I never have to leave.
It's
People
so
bring me.
cute.
My kids do shows for me outside, and they do like TikTok dances. But my mother always told my sister, you should really put a shower in your bathroom. The bathroom's in the barn part that's on the other side of where I am. It's just a bathroom. So it's a big sink. So I took a shower in the sink today.
Oh my God.
I am very much looking forward to her very beautiful shower in her house when I have house rights. I don't have house
When do
rights.
you get house rights? When does that happen?
On Monday, when I get my tests back, if I'm negative, I've got house rights, and if I'm positive, I started quarantining, self-isolating on Wednesday. So 14 days from
You'll have a little bit.
Wednesday.
Yeah, you'll have a
Yeah.
little bit of time.
You know what?
Woo!
We were supposed to have a huge party on the 31st of March, a book launch party. We had about 75 people coming. My sister was hosting. All of my books are here. All of her cute little things that she was decorating for the Speak book party. And then, but I'm here, which is so funny, which is like, we didn't have a plan to be here. We're here because my kids live on the East Coast, and we wanted to get them out of New York City. And my sister was kind enough to say, take our house. We're not there. So we're very lucky.
Oh, that's so lovely. Oh, so your sister's not even there.
Mm-mm.
Oh,
She's in Florida, which is great because that would be
yeah.
too many people. So we got really lucky. We have this beautiful home to take care of, and we're taking care of her dog. So that's why I feel good. So,
Oh, that's
but
awesome. Well,
yeah.
I'm glad. It's probably good to be out of the city too. Like city life
Oh,
right now is
yeah.
not great.
Must be so
A bunch.
strange.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Well, enough about me. I am here to say I love your book.
Oh,
I have chills saying this. I didn't think I could love another book like I love mine, only because I loved writing it and I love telling the stories. Your stories remind me of my stories in many ways. The way you write, first of all, you are a brilliant writer. You are a first-time author like
yeah.
me. We are right in the middle of our book launch that is no longer.
Uh-huh.
Way to really kick it out of the park, the two of us. Okay.
I'm glad we're in it together. If I had to be in it with anyone else, I'm so happy it brought you and I together.
I mean, that is the gift. Like,
It
we
is a gift.
just recently met, and you came to one of my events. Your book title, Soulbbatical, A Corporate Rebel's Guide to Finding Your Best Life by Shelley Paxton. Everybody go get it. She drops the F-bomb several times. And oh, the way you write about your father. I mean, there are no words, because if you read mine, you'll feel this. You'll understand.
Oh yeah.
the way you write, I just, before we speak, I just want to, I'm not through it at all, because I'm, I read it and then I put it down, but
that's
so
where I am
many
with
people,
yours. Like I'm like
I
halfway
know.
through.
I mean, I want to read it, but I haven't been feeling well. And I think that, the two of us can look at this moment as, oh, we needed to pause. I think the whole world is looking at it that way. And so what I want to say, you were CMO at Harley Davidson. You had the coolest job with the most iconic brand. You took a chance on yourself and you said, I'm not happy. I'm stopping. And you stopped. Your dad gets sick. You're caring for him. I don't know what happens next. I know your marriage before was ended, and you took a soulbbatical. You made up the word. You took a soulbbatical. And in this moment of rest and pause, how can we as a world make this soulbbatical that we are all on now? Not just you. You wrote the book. You freaking brought it on. Like, man, like, I don't mean the bad part, the good part. You brought it on. Everybody should be reading this book who was on the planet, because we're all slowing down now. We don't have a choice. No one's ever given us this moment. Wouldn't you have wanted this moment? So you don't want the reason, but now that we have it, what can you tell people to do that costs them nothing and that they can easily do from home to get more in touch with their souls?
Yeah. So a number of things. First of all, I just want to say, well, thank you. Thank you for celebrating the book. And it's, at first I was like you, kind of devastated. It was like, oh no, like, lunch parties and all the things are starting to fall apart. And then I really, really quickly got to this place of like, oh no, the world needs this message now more than ever. And I'm a believer that crisis always teaches us something.
Blessing in the wound.
Yeah, completely. And I'm a believer, like, we have a choice amidst all of the crazy that's going on. It's all unprecedented. None of us know where this is taking us, but I'm choosing to lean into the positivity and the opportunity and the light. And I think my book is a piece of that, right?
It is a piece of it. It is a massive piece of it. And I just, there are people who've lost their jobs, who might not be in homes as beautiful as yours or my sister's, who don't know how they're going to feed their children, who have to go to work because they're in the healthcare world. How are people who are really, really affected the most, and who are elderly, who are alone, how can they use the principles? Like, what's the top one that you would tell people?
Yeah, the top one, well, I would say for everyone, there are two that are coming to mind right now. One is radical self-care. You
remind me so much of Brene Brown. It's ridiculous. The way you write, the way you
said that to me yesterday.
Oh my God, you are Brene Brown to me.
It's so funny. I had a client yesterday who said she watched Brene on 60 Minutes this past Sunday, and I still haven't seen it. I need to pull it up on demand.
I've only seen parts of it.
And she said, I was watching Brene, and the whole time I just felt like I was watching and listening to you. And I was like, there could be no higher compliment in my mind, because I am such a massive fan of hers. So, well, and thank you for saying that. So radical self-care is one of the things I talk about, like, especially for people on the front lines and in essential businesses and services right now. Find that time. This is a time to strengthen our minds, our bodies, and our souls, right? Give yourself the gift of, whether it's meditation, right? Just time to slow down for 15 minutes a day, tune out the noise, reconnect with yourself. I'm actually calling it, I've been thinking about this because to me, I'm now positioning Soulbbaticals like finding the meaning in the madness, because there is meaning here and there is opportunity. And so like finding your signal amidst the noise, tune out the world, right? And tuning out the world, I talk about this in the book. For me, it's like finding at least 15 minutes a day to sit still in total silence, to get off of our phones, away from our screens, to turn the news off.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because it's upsetting our nervous systems. It's compromising our immune systems.
Right.
So the beauty and my recommendation to everyone is find your signal. And by that, I mean your soul signal, that little voice inside you. Sit still, sit quiet, even if you can only afford to do it for 15 minutes a day, and reconnect with that little voice inside you. Listen to it. Ask it what it needs.
That little voice, ask it what it needs. Ask it, literally talk to your inner voice. Talk to it and say, what do you need from me today? I love that. I love that, because we all have her or him, and they're telling us what to do. It's the gut check. And, you know, Oprah, maybe even Brene Brown, my friend Mona, they talk about it like a GPS system, where you really have to listen. And now is the time, but you can't listen if there's too much noise. So there's a lot of noise.
And if you're disconnected, right? When I was still at Harley and I was having the nightmare and all the things were happening, I realized, crazy, right? I mean, I won't spoil it for everyone, but what I realized is I was so disconnected from myself. I was misaligned with what was true to me and in my soul, and what that little voice had been telling me, frankly, for a very long time, until the universe had to grab a 2x4 and, like, you know, whack me in the solar plexus and say, listen, right?
Right.
So I want people to take the opportunity to start listening now, because I believe this is a time to set ourselves up for what changes do we want to make in our lives when this is over. And it will be over, and our lives will fundamentally change. So
it will be over.
The other thing I would say is embrace conscious growth. So in this time, one of the things that I'm doing myself, and I'm coaching my clients on, and I'm telling everybody I can possibly tell, we grow through crisis, right? It's always here to teach us something. We always grow from it. We don't always see that gift until later. And what I'm challenging everybody to do is to say, how can I consciously grow through this? What is my choice and my intention right now? You know, is it this is your time to shine and share your talent? The world needs your gifts more than ever, right?
Yes.
That's one thing.
Yeah, you're speaking my language now.
Yeah, well, exactly. And then, you know, another thing would be like, is there something you've always wanted to learn? A friend of mine is learning French right now. So she's like, okay, the new language that I've always told myself, I will, and it goes to the bottom of the list. We have an opportunity to do that right now. We have an opportunity to learn a new skill. I'm actually taking, this is something maybe everybody would be interested in. I'm taking Yale's most popular course. It's called The Science of Well-Being, and it's now on Coursera. It's a free course. You can take it. It's taught by the original professor, Laurie Santos, who created it. And it's fascinating. So I'm using some of my evenings, just to get away from Netflix binging, because believe me, I'm doing the same stuff everybody else is, but I'm also trying to enrich myself in the process. So I would encourage us to, like, take a little time away from, you know, the Netflix binges and the news and all the stuff that's happening around us, and just say, what do I want to do for myself? And how do I want to consciously grow in this moment?
Right. Well, listen, also, there's so many beautiful things that you write, and I'm only on page 29. But when you say something like every badass accomplishment is really just a series of tiny steps, that is what is happening. We need to pull our badass selves up. You know, like today, didn't feel well, put myself in the sink, took a sink shower. Badass small baby step, I feel better. So whatever that baby step is for you, I write about this too, it's momentum. Whatever that baby step is for you, it might not be taking a Yale course, but it may just be giving yourself 2 minutes of alone time, 2 minutes of presence. Get an app, get something that starts you on that mindfulness journey to find your soul, because that is where we are. And you also say that you had a PhD in making things harder than they needed to be. Can we learn a little bit about that? I think we're over our 15 minutes, which is unfortunate, but let's just, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. Well, maybe you can somehow split this up into
I
a
know,
couple of
somehow.
videos.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, for me, it's like, I think I would always, and still do, I'm human, right? Get overwhelmed by these big things. So I made these, I made like wanting to write again. So here's a great example, wanting to write again. It's like, it was just like, it felt like, oh my God, I had to write the perfect article or whatever. And so I would overwhelm myself by making it the big thing instead of saying, what if you just sit down at your computer, give yourself an allotted amount of time, like a half an hour, and just see what comes through you.
Right.
Which would be the baby step, instead of going, I should have a whole following on medium.com. I should have, I should be blogging every day. Like I was making it, I was giving myself anxiety instead of just saying like, before this even goes out into the world, sit down for yourself, reconnect and see what comes through you. And so I made book writing pretty damn hard on myself too, until I really connected with my own voice and just started to write as I speak.
You write the line that made me laugh out loud, and it still does, is this. I'm sure I mean, it was phenomenal. And you're writing about your dad and him being taken down by an aneurysm and then a brain bleed, and he was powerful and healthy and tan and a golfer, and everybody loved him, CEO. There was some doctor that was basically saying, oh, he's not going to live. And he lives, of course, and conquers. And you say, put that in your pipe and smoke it, Dr. Dismal. I'm like,
so true.
Love you. I love you.
Oh, I love you for picking up on that. Yeah, because it was sort of like, big middle finger. Hello.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Right.
Oof,
Right.
Yeah.
What did your dad teach you? What is I know he's still alive, but what has your dad taught you in this journey to leave your kick-ass, badass job with a big salary and a big brand to go out and start your own platform with Soulbbatical and take on private clients and tell people how they can live a more soulful life?
Yeah. Well, here's what's interesting. I was already on Soulbbatical, like what I thought this Soulbbatical, before I realized it's a way of being in the world. I was on the initial parts of the journey. So I was 8 months into Soulbbatical when my dad had the massive brain bleed. And so what it taught me from that moment forward is, well, so many things. I'm trying to figure out, one, it crystallized that I was never going to spend another moment doing something that was not completely true to me and completely fulfilling. Life is way too short.
Brene Brown. It's like I'm talking to Brene Brown.
Yeah. In that moment,
exactly right.
In that moment, I was like, there's absolutely no way I'm turning back. This is a reinforcement that I'm moving forward. And I was just starting to understand that this could be a movement. And I was just starting to think about this being a book. And it was in that moment I write about this conversation in the book. We had the most poignant conversation when we finally got my dad out of ICUs and hospitals and rehab centers and all of that, and moved he and my mom down to their Naples home permanently. And I was sitting, my dad he still is trying to get his command of language back. And we were sitting out by the pool in their backyard. His favorite place is just being like a lizard in the sun. And he was really lucid, and he starts using words he hadn't used. And he's telling me that he's really happy he made the choice to live. And it was so I still get goosebumps. And I was like, I didn't even think he knew that he was that close to death. I didn't think he remembered any of it. So he had 2 strokes back to back, which is a death sentence for anyone. So now he's telling me that he knew after the second one that he was fading away. And at first he decided, you know what? I've lived an amazing life. I'm ready to go. I have a beautiful family. I've done incredible things in the world. My family will be fine without me. They're well taken care of. But then a couple days later, he realized, because he was saying this to me, that he absolutely wanted to stay, and he wanted to turn toward the light because he had different work to do this time. It wasn't his corporate work anymore. And he doesn't yet even know what that work is going to be.
Right.
And in that moment, I mean, I was bawling, I had goosebumps, I'm holding his hand, and I said, oh my God, Dad, I get it now. We're shifting from living business, which is what you and I have done our entire lives, to the business of living.
Oh. Wow. 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 Shelley, do you think you would have recognized that had you not written this book and gone on your journey? I mean, it all seems like it's all, I feel that way with my life and things that happen in the writing and the journey. I feel like when you are brave enough to go out there and do something that's as badass as what you did, giving it up, writing a book, being a first-time author, going on it on your own, losing a marriage, going through that. I mean, I'm sure, and I think you write about it, when your dad was in the hospital and you didn't have to worry about your CMO job at Harley Davidson, was that not in and of itself a gift?
It was a gift, and it was an absolute reminder that I had taken steps in the right direction. Yes, and you're so right. This goes back to momentum, and it goes back to every badass accomplishment is a series of tiny steps. It goes back to all of that because I'm a believer that we live into something before we're ready. I definitely lived into this before I was ready and before I even knew what Soulbbatical was going to become. Before I even knew that it was going to be the platform that it is today. And it's a small but growing platform. But here's the thing, every time we take a step, the universe this is my belief, the universe is opening up the next door for us. Synchronicity is happening.
Oh my God.
We can't see that. I mean, here's another synchronicity, like even getting out into the world, like just showing up and playing big opens so many doors. To me, I'm just having this conversation with you, and the fact that you writing a book and me writing a book and friends in common brought us together, and now we're on this journey together. That was a door that the universe
synchronicity.
Opened.
That's synchronicity.
Totally, it's synchronicity.
Shelley, I can't remember the friend now. I was like last night, I was like, who was the friend? I can't remember our friend in common. Please remind me.
Two people. So one was, I thought, through Alicia Driscoll, but Alicia is not the one who introduced us.
I don't think it is. I know I can't remember, but whoever it is, we love them.
Oh, we love
and I love Alicia.
I feel embarrassed that I can't remember.
I'm the one asking. I can't. I literally have to go through our first email.
I know.
It's like crazy. So I have, in wrapping this up, because we could talk about this for so long. And I love your book so much. And everyone, we're all on a Soulbbatical. We are all on it. So does it come on a Kindle and all that too?
Kindle, audiobook.
Oh, and you did. Do you do the voice?
Yeah.
Oh, I just want to do it so badly.
That was the highlight of this whole experience for me, like the creation of the book. Sitting in that sound booth and recording and reading. And I was like, every 5 minutes I was having a pinch me moment. It was incredible.
I can't wait. After I finish reading it, I'm going to get your audio. It's a dream of mine to do. But here's what I want to ask you. For all of the people out there who are not listening right now to me, but if they were, I'm talking about CEOs and people that are running companies, big and small. I mean, I've talked to so many friends, one in particular who had to let go of almost half her staff, and she's devastated because nobody planned for that. Nobody plans for that. We plan for growth. We don't plan for, oh my God, pandemic. But as leaders, what would you say to people now that when you know better, you do better, right? We've been through this now. Plus, you've done it yourself. You have gone on your Soulbbatical. There are companies that haven't been nice to their people, and there are companies that have been beautiful to their people. So for the people that are out there talking to people who are in the midst of, do I have a job? I don't have a job. Will I have a job? What should they be looking for in a leader that a company will do for them that says, bing, 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 I'm where I should be? And what are the signs of no? Like, no, like, yeah, I need a paycheck, but this company, like, sometimes it's a blessing. Like, this company wasn't going to be good to me because of how they've treated me now, but maybe I wouldn't have known that for a few months or a year. I don't know. I'm kind of rambling. Sorry. What would you tell people to look for in leaders right now of big companies to say that's a good place to be?
Yeah, this is such a good question. Two things come to mind. I think it's in the leader and in the culture, right? So I'll start with in the leader. And I'm a big proponent that this will start to shift culture, and amen to that, right? So I'll get to that in a second. But in terms of looking for in a leader, I mean, this is a time more than ever. Talk about Brene Brown. I'm certified in her Dare to Lead work. This is more than ever a time for courageous and wholehearted leadership. This is the time for bringing humanity, like bringing our messiness, bringing our compassion to our leadership. And you're right, we're seeing examples of leaders doing this so beautifully right now.
Beautiful.
We are also seeing examples on the opposite side, right?
Because we're human.
Because we're human. So I would say absolutely look for somebody who's willing to lean in, to connect with you, to ask you how you're doing, to simply listen and ask how they can support you. That to me is courageous and wholehearted leadership.
Yeah.
Right? You're doing more listening than talking.
And know that when you are being furloughed or let go, that was never the person's hope or dream that's giving you that news. And it's quite possible that when we come through this, keep that door very, very open, because they know your work. And once we get back on our feet, that could be a place for you to land again if you loved it and if that was something that you wanted.
Yeah.
I think we all need to really, really walk in our grace right now, both the leaders and the people who are in the midst of not knowing or knowing that they don't have jobs. So
the other thing I would say, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's okay.
The other thing I would say is, to the point about culture, now is a really good time for anybody who has a little extra downtime right now. Use this time to get really clear on what your values are.
Yeah.
Right? Because that to me is like, it's a whole other way of, I kind of knew, if you asked me, this is another kind of Brene Brown-esque thing. If you asked me what my values were, I could give you my list of 15, but I couldn't narrow it down to my top 2 or 3.
Yeah.
That's hard work. And that's really incredible work to be doing at this time.
Yeah.
Get clear, because then you want to look for that in your leaders, in the culture of the company that you work for or may work for. Like, get really clear on that, and get really clear on, what lights your soul on fire. This is a good time to do like an audit with yourself.
It's kind of like, I'm picturing cleaning the closet. So clean your closet, but clean your own internal self, and whittle out the things that, they're important, but what are the 2 shoes you want to wear every day?
Totally.
What are your 2 values that mean the most, that you won't compromise on? Some we'll compromise on, but others we won't. I like that. Whittle it down.
Yeah. And you haven't gotten to this place in the book yet, but there's an exercise that I have in the book, and it's doing an audit of what are the soul fuels in your life, like the things that just give you energy and light you on fire. And what are the soul sucks, like those things in your life that are draining your energy. Right. This is a time to step back and say, what do I want more of? What do I want less of? What do I want to be different when we come out of this? Again, we will come out of this and things will change. What do we consciously want to change?
A perfect example of that is, because I'm not feeling well, I got myself up and dressed because I knew this would make me feel better and fill my soul. Now, if you were my tax attorney, I would not be in my bed. I would be in my bed. Sorry. I would not be here. I would not be dressed. I would be like, I'm so sick.
Right. I totally get it. Same for me.
So it is when you want, listen, this is my favorite thing I say it all the time. when you are in your purpose, fear has no access. So you're, you know, if you know what your purpose is, you will not stop at anything. Nothing can scare you away from doing it. And while it might not pay your bills, at least if you serve it in some way daily, in any way you can, whatever that purpose is for you, then your soul will be lit on fire. The last thing I want to say is, here we are, 2 women north of 50. Am I right? Or are you under 40?
I just turned 50. I wish
right.
I was under 40. I just turned 50 in January.
Okay. 2 women 50 and up. First time, both worked for iconic brands. I'm coming back to you.
Okay, got it.
Sorry. So here we are, 2 women north of 50, just. Me, I'm almost 60. Worked for iconic brands, do no longer work for iconic brands.
Our own iconic brands.
Oh, there you go. That's true. Thank you for that correction. Who are first-time authors who launched their books at the same time. Me, self-published, you with an arm of Simon & Schuster, a press, I should say. And bam, slam, no more. Yet, your gift is 100% what we need. Mm-hmm. So that is the coolest part of this book. It is what we need right now.
As is yours, my friend.
And as is mine. And one of the things, and there are many, many things about mine that work in this moment, but the one is, in the title, it says your audience is waiting. And I always say to people, you don't have to be a CEO or a, superstar to have an audience. You could be a yoga teacher, you could be a doctor, you could be whatever, you could be a teacher, you could be an influencer. And now everyone, because we can't be in front of an audience, a live audience, we are all going online, and we now are having platforms. People who never thought they'd have a platform in their life are online having a platform. And so everyone right now in this moment has an audience, and your audience is waiting. So between Soulbbatical and my book, I don't have it with me.
You have it right there in the background, though. I can see it.
I do, because this yoga, I'm looking at your background. I'm like, where is it?
Yeah.
I do. And so those 2 books right now, I just have to say, I think that it's not an accident that they came out at this time.
I agree with you.
And I'm very attracted to women who have strong relationships with their dads. So I can't wait to read more about your badass dad and your cute mom. Yeah. And I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time.
Oh, I'm so grateful. Thank you.
In your day to speak to all of us about Soulbbatical, because we're all on one. Thanks, Shelley.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that was so awesome. I hope my son can
he can break it into 2 probably. Edit.
Yeah. Do you want to stop cloud? Do you want to recording? Okay.